I was working on the beach where I saw my own sister and my husband cheating on me. But what I did next ruined their lives forever. My heart shattered as I watched them laugh, their hands intertwined. Malibu, California, is a place where the ocean sings its eternal songs and the golden sand glistens under the sun. In this paradise, a family lives in a two-story mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean, which seems perfect from the outside. Emily Crow, 33, is a surveyor with a passion for precision. Her husband, John, 36, is an architect whose projects adorn the coast. Their children, 7-year-old Sophie and 5-year-old Liam, fill the house with laughter and chaos. And then there's Julia, Emily's 27-year-old younger sister, an artist who moved in with them after another setback in her life. Emily stands on the beach holding a theodolite. Her task is to take measurements for a new eco-resort. She has to calculate shoreline erosion, assess the impact of tides, and determine the boundaries of the site. The work calms her down and gives her a sense of control that she so often lacks at home. Sophie and Liam are constantly demanding attention. John has become distant lately, and Julia lives in her own world of colors and dreams, painting pictures that Emily considers chaotic. On this day, the heat makes the air shiver. Emily is setting up the equipment, recording data, but her mind wanders. She recalls how John came home late last night, smelling of the sea and wine. Meeting a client, he said, but his eyes avoided hers. Emily pushed away her suspicions. She has always trusted John. He is her rock, the father of their children, the man who promised to be with her forever. But then she hears laughter. Familiar, melodic, like bells. Emily looks up and freezes. In the distance, at the water's edge, two people are walking. Julia, in a light sundress, holds John's hand. He leans toward her, whispering something, and she laughs, throwing her head back. They look like a couple in love, enjoying a carefree day. Emily feels the ground slipping away from under her feet. Her hands are shaking and the theodolite is wobbly. She takes off her sunglasses, hoping it's an illusion. But no, it's them. John gently adjusts a strand of Julia's hair. In this gesture intimate, forbidden is breaking Emily's heart. She wants to scream, to run to them, to demand an explanation. But her feet feel like they're stuck to the sand. She stands there, watching her husband and sister disappear around the bend in the shore, holding hands. Emily returns home when the sun has already set. The house is noisy. Sophie is drawing at the kitchen table, Liam is driving his car around the floor, and Julia is humming in her upstairs studio. John is sitting in the living room, scrolling through something on his phone. Mom, look, I drew the ocean. Sophie pulls Emily's hand. Very nice, darling, Emily replies, but her voice is shaking. She looks at John. Did you go to the beach today? He looks up, slightly surprised. No, I've been at the office all day. Why? Emily nods, swallowing the lump in her throat. She can't believe he's lying to her face. That night, she doesn't sleep. Lying next to John, she listens to his steady breathing and thinks about the children. Sophie, who adores her dad, and Liam, who copies his every move. How will she explain to them if everything falls apart? The next day, Emily begins to observe. She notices the little things. How Julia smiles at John when she thinks no one sees. How he accidentally touches her hand while passing the salt at lunch. Emily feels like she's going crazy, but she can't stop. She needs proof. She starts checking John's phone while he's in the shower. There she finds a message from Julia. Tonight at the lighthouse? The reply, if you promise not to draw me in a funny pose. Emily takes screenshots, her fingers trembling with anger. She copies them to a hidden folder on her laptop, promising herself that she will take her time with her decisions. Emily becomes a shadow in her own home. She smiles at her children, cooks dinner, and talks to John about his projects, but inside she is on fire. Her anger is like a volcano waiting to erupt. She recalls how Julia moved in with them 2 years ago. At the time, her sister was confused, with no money and no plans. Emily insisted that she stay, despite John's doubts. She's my family, she said. And now that family is betraying her. Emily returns to work on the beach, but her thoughts are far from the resort. She sees Julia painting nearby and decides to go over. New inspiration? Emily asks, nodding to the easel. Yes, the ocean is always inspiring, Julia replies, smiling. And you, are you okay? Emily wants to scream. How could you? But instead she smiles. Everything is fine. She is not ready to reveal her cards. She needs a plan, something more than tears and accusations. She thinks of Julia's birthday coming up. It will be a big party at their mansion, family, friends, music. Emily sees this as a chance. She imagines everyone learning the truth, Julia losing everything she holds dear. Emily begins to gather evidence. She installs an app to track John's phone and learns that he regularly stays at a hotel in Santa Barbara. She finds receipts for dinners he hasn't mentioned and photos on Julia's phone of them taking selfies together in front of the ocean. Each new piece of evidence is like a nail in her heart, but Emily doesn't stop. She also cares about the children. Sophie and Liam must not be harmed. Emily spends more time with them, reads them stories, takes them to the beach. But every time John hugs them, she feels pain. How can he be such a caring father and destroy their family at the same time? One evening, John announces that he is going on a business trip. Emily checks his laptop and finds a reservation for an apartment in Santa Barbara for two. She realizes that Julia is going with him. Anger boils over, but Emily holds it back. She knows her revenge will be devastating. A week before Julia's birthday, Emily starts preparing. She orders a caterer, invites her family, parents, aunts, cousins. Everyone loves Julia, her charisma, her talent. But Emily knows that this will soon change. She imagines their parents, Edward and Martha, learning the truth. How their eyes will be filled with disappointment. How Julia will be left alone. Emily also consults with a lawyer. She learns about alimony, property division, and child custody. The mansion, the cars, the savings, it all belongs to her and John. But Emily wants him to pay for everything. She wants him to be left with nothing. While Julia is planning the party, Emily is preparing her own move. She creates a presentation, screenshots, photos, recordings. Everything that will prove the betrayal. She imagines turning on the projector in the middle of the party, the guests falling silent, Julia and John standing there, not knowing where to go. Emily is sitting in her bedroom, staring at her laptop. On the screen is a folder of evidence, screenshots of messages, photos of John and Julia, receipts for their secret dinners in Santa Barbara. Each file is like a brick in the wall of her anger that grows every day. She hears Sophie laughing downstairs as she plays with Liam, and it reminds her why she has to be careful. Her children are the only thing keeping her from blowing up right now. Julia's birthday is approaching, with 5 days to go. The house is in a frenzy. Julia orders decorations, chooses a playlist, and sends out invitations. She wants the party to be memorable something Malibu will remember, she says. Emily nods, smiles, and helps pick out flowers and cocktails, but her eyes are cold. She imagines how this party will not be a celebration, but the end of everything Julia and John consider theirs. Emily consults with a lawyer, Mrs. Claire Reed, who has a reputation as a shark in family law. In her office, which smells of leather and coffee, Emily tells her everything. About the affair, about the children, about the mansion. Claire, with her sharp eyes and perfectly straight posture, listens silently, taking notes. "Do you want to file for divorce?" she asks when Emily finishes. "Not just a divorce," Emily replies, her voice hard as steel. "I want him to be left with nothing. The mansion, the savings, the car's all mine. And alimony, so he can pay for the kids for the rest of his life." Claire raises an eyebrow. "It's possible, but you need ironclad proof of infidelity. A court in California doesn't always take infidelity into account when dividing property, but it can affect alimony and custody. Do you have anything specific in mind?" Emily pulls out the flash drive with the evidence folder. Claire looks through the files, and a small smile appears on her face. "This is strong, Emily. Very strong." They agree on a strategy. Emily wants to file for divorce right after the party so that the blow will be devastating. She also asks for full custody of Sophie and Liam. "John doesn't deserve to be around them," she says, sounding not only angry but also hurt. Emily returns home, where Julia is trying on a dress for the party, an emerald one that emphasizes her slender figure. John is sitting on the couch, holding Liam on his lap, telling him something about ships. Sophie is drawing next to him, her tongue sticking out funny in concentration. Emily stops in the doorway, watching this painting. From the outside, they look like a happy family. But she knows the truth. "Emily, look, what do you think?" Julia spins in front of the mirror. "Perfect," Emily replies, her voice sounding so sincere that even she is surprised at herself. "You'll be the star of the evening." Julia laughs and hugs her sister. Emily tenses, but hugs back. She can smell her perfume, the same perfume that was on John's shirt last week. Her fingers clench, but she forces a smile. That night, as the children go to bed, Emily notices John and Julia looking at each other. It's a quick glance, but it doesn't escape her. She waits for John to shower and checks his phone. There's a new message from Julia. "Can't wait for everyone to leave after the party. It'll finally be just the two of us." Emily feels her anger boiling, but she takes a deep breath. A few more days and they will pay for everything. She goes to Julia's studio, where her sister is painting a new picture, abstract waves in. shades of blue and gold. Emily stands in the doorway, watching. Is this for the exhibition? She asks. Maybe, Julia replies, not taking her eyes off the canvas, or maybe it's just for the soul. You know how it goes. Emily nods. She knows. She knows that Julia has always hid behind her paintings, her charisma, her freedom. But this time she won't run away. 3 days before the party, Emily completes her preparations. She meets with a technician who will install a projector in the mansion's living room. Officially, it's for a slideshow of Julia's memories, childhood photos, family moments. But Emily has a different plan. She has prepared a presentation, messages, photos, even a short video she shot by accident when she found John and Julia in the car near the beach. All of this will be shown in the middle of the party, when the guests including her parents, Edward, and Martha are all there. Emily also cares about the children. She doesn't want Sophie and Liam to see their world fall apart. She arranges for her friend Sarah to pick them up for the night after the party starts. It's going to be a long one, and they need their rest, she explains to John, and he nods, unsuspectingly. Meanwhile, John behaves like a perfect husband. He helps with the organization, buys Julia a gift, sapphire earrings that Emily sees in his drawer. She imagines him giving them to Julia, thinking that their secret is safe. Her stomach clenches, but she keeps it together. Emily also calls her parents. Edward and Martha live in San Diego, but they promise to come to the party. They have always adored Julia, their star, as Martha calls her. Emily listens to her mom talk about the new painting Julia sent them and feels a lump grow in her throat. Soon they will see their star in a different light. The day before the party, Emily goes to the beach. She stands by the water, where she first saw John and Julia, and feels the ocean whispering its secrets to her. She recalls how she met John 10 years ago. He was ambitious, with dreams of big projects. She loved him so much that she couldn't see anything else. And Julia had always been her weakness. The younger sister whom she protected, whom she justified, whom she loved despite all her mistakes. And now they both betrayed her. Emily returns home and checks everything one last time. The projector is ready. The flash drive with the presentation is in her purse. The lawyer has sent her a draft of the divorce lawsuit. She imagines filing the papers after the party, how John will be left without the mansion, without savings, without children. She wants him to feel the same pain as she does. That evening, Julia organizes a dress rehearsal. She turns on the music, dances in the living room, laughs. John joins in, and they spin together, thinking Emily can't see. But she sees everything. She stands in the shadows of the hallway, clenching her fists. Her time is coming. The morning of Julia's birthday. The mansion is sparkling. Garlands, flowers, tables with appetizers. Guests will start arriving in a few hours. Emily wakes up early and prepares breakfast for Sophie and Liam. They ask if there will be cake, and she promises that there will be something special. Her voice sounds warm, but her eyes are cold. John goes to a client meeting, but Emily knows he's with Julia. She saw them whispering yesterday. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all over today. Emily puts on an elegant black dress, a symbol of her determination. She looks in the mirror and sees a different Emily than the one who cried at night. This is the new Emily, the one who will destroy everything that has been broken. Emily, are you ready for the party of the century? She asks. Absolutely, Emily replies, her smile like a blade. It will be unforgettable. The Malibu mansion shines like a diamond in the California sun. Garlands are twinkling on the terrace, tables are overflowing with hors d'oeuvres, and live music, jazz with a touch of ocean breeze, fills the air. The guests are arriving, Julia's friends, John's colleagues, and neighbors who never miss a party. Emily stands at the entrance, greeting everyone with a flawless smile. Her black dress fits her figure like armor, and in her purse is a flash drive, her weapon. Julia is the center of attention, her emerald dress sparkling as she laughs, dances, and accepts gifts. John is beside her, holding a glass of wine, his eyes following her with a tenderness that Emily now hates. She sees him put his arm around Julia's waist when she thinks no one is looking. But Emily is watching. She's always looking. The parents, Edward and Martha, have traveled from San Diego. They hug Julia, calling her our little star, and praise Emily for her organization. You always have everything under control, Martha says, and Emily nods, hiding the irony in her smile. Sophie and Liam are running around among the guests, but Sarah, Emily's friend, is ready to pick them up for the night. Emily kisses the children, promising them that tomorrow they will eat cake together. Her heart is tight. She knows their world is about to change, but she will do anything to protect them. As the sun goes down and the party gets going, Emily signals the technician. The projector in the living room is ready, and the screen is down. Julia thinks it's for a slideshow of her childhood photos and excitedly announces, Now Emily is going to show something special. The guests laugh and take their seats. John stands behind them, his arm around Julia's shoulder. They don't know that their time is up. Emily walks up to the projector, holding the remote control. Her voice is calm, but there is a storm inside. Julia, this is your day, and I want everyone to see who you really are. She presses the button. The first slide is a message. Tonight at the lighthouse? From Julia. If you promise not to. Draw me in a funny pose, John replies. The guests look at each other, some giggle, thinking it's a joke. But Emily doesn't stop. The next slide is a photo. John and Julia on the beach, their hands intertwined. Then another one of them kissing in the car. The room falls silent. Julia turns pale, her eyes widen. John steps forward, as if to stop it, but Emily raises her hand. That's not all, she says, her voice cutting through the air like a knife. A video appears on the screen. It's blurry, but recognizable. John and Julia embracing by the beach, their voices whispering something that can't be heard, but shouldn't be. Emily sees Martha putting her hand over her mouth, Edward frowning, clenching his fists. The guests whisper, some look away. Julia tries to say something, but her voice trembles. Emily, it's not what you think, she chokes out. Not that. Emily turns to her sister, her eyes burning. You slept with my husband. Behind my back. In my house. In front of my children. John tries to intervene. Emily, let's talk in private. Alone? She laughs, and this laugh is like a crack of ice. You lost that right when you chose her. She turns to the guests. I trusted them both. Julia is my sister. John is the father of my children. But they betrayed me, and I want you all to know the truth. Julia, is it true? She asks, her voice breaking. Julia looks down, her lips trembling. She can't deny it, the evidence on the screen speaks for itself. Edward shakes his head, his eyes full of disappointment. How could you? He says quietly, but the words hit harder than a scream. The guests begin to leave, whispering among themselves. Julia stands as if trapped, her dress now seeming inappropriately bright. John tries to take her hand, but she pulls it away as if she has been burned. Emily turns off the projector and walks away, leaving them in a silence that weighs a ton. The next day, the mansion is empty. Julia packed her things and left. Emily doesn't know where she's going, and she doesn't care. John stayed in the guest room, begging to talk, but Emily refused. She called a lawyer, and Claire Reed arrived the same day. The divorce papers are ready, and so is the alimony claim. Emily wants full custody of Sophie and Liam, the mansion, the savings, even the yacht that John loved so much. They'll have nothing, she tells Claire, and she nods, writing it down. Emily calls her parents. Martha is crying, apologizing for Julia, but Emily stops her. It's not your fault, but I want you to know that she's not my sister anymore. Edward and Martha agree not to communicate with Julia, their love for her shattered by her betrayal. Emily feels relieved, but also empty. A part of her life is gone forever. The children return home, and Emily explains that Dad will be living separately. Sophie cries, Liam doesn't understand, but Emily hugs them, promising that everything will be fine. She doesn't tell them about Julia. She doesn't want them to know what their aunt was like. Meanwhile, John is trying to make excuses. He comes to Emily when the children are asleep, with flowers and tears. I made a mistake, he says. It was stupid. I love you, Emily. Did you love me when you kissed my sister? When you lied to me every day? You destroyed our family, John. And now you're going to pay. She files a lawsuit next week. The trial is quick. The evidence of infidelity is overwhelming. The judge, shocked at the extent of the deception, awards Emily everything: the mansion, her savings, her yacht, her cars. John has to pay alimony for Sophie and Liam until they reach adulthood, and his income barely covers it. Emily gets full custody of the children. John will see them only on a schedule, under supervision. A year passes. Emily is standing on a Malibu beach, looking out at the ocean. The mansion behind her is her fortress, now officially hers alone. Sophie and Liam are playing nearby, building a sandcastle. They have adapted, although they sometimes ask about their dad. Emily has learned to answer gently but firmly. He made a mistake, but we are strong without him. Julia has disappeared from her life. Emily has heard that her sister has moved to Los Angeles and is trying to sell paintings, but her reputation is ruined. Her family has turned their backs on her. Edward and Martha won't return her calls, and her cousins and aunts consider her an outcast. Emily feels no regrets. Julia has chosen her own path. John is a different story. He lives in a cramped rented apartment in Santa Monica, working a low-paying job because his career as an architect collapsed after a scandal. Colleagues turned away, clients disappeared. He tried to find someone new, but women only see him as a traitor. Every night he sits alone, remembering Emily, the children, the mansion. Regret rolls in like the tide, over and over again, but there is nothing to bring back. Emily, on the other hand, is flourishing. She gets a promotion at work, manages an eco-resort project that becomes a sensation. She takes Sophie to dances, Liam to soccer, and their laughter fills the mansion. Sometimes she thinks about John and Julia, but they are only shadows of the past. She is one. Emily walks along the beach, holding Sophie and Liam's hands. The ocean whispers, just like the day she saw the betrayal. But now she doesn't feel pain. She feels strong. Her life is her own. Her home is her fortress. Her children are her treasure. She stops, looking at the horizon. Somewhere out there, across the waves, John and Julia are living with the consequences of their choices. But here in Malibu, Emily is free. She returns to her children, laughing when Liam splashes water on her. Life goes on, and it belongs to her.